everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to share with you how I found my swollen lymph nodes in my neck. When I first started detoxing, I was really fascinated with lymphatic massaging. And this is another thing we also have to be really careful with. When we get into lymphatic massaging, we really want to make sure our kidneys are filtering. If we're not filtering and we're massaging our lymphatic system, you're just spreading acids around the body. They're not eliminating. You're not getting them out the trash. You're not taking the trash out. So you're just stirring up the pot. So it's really important to be eliminating these toxins, sweating, and your kidneys filtering before you really get into lymphatic massaging. So when I found my swollen lymph nodes, I was online and I was looking at different types of lymphatic massages in the neck area, because my cancer was in my on my face. So, and I knew that my lymphatic system here was stagnation. Well, when I started checking my neck, this is how I actually found my swollen lymph nodes and my stagnation. So if you take your hands and you kind of spread them out like that, and you go up and behind the ears, and then you kind of rub down the ears, and not really hard, but just enough to feel if you feel any lumps, bumps, anything in the neck area. And you want to do both sides at the same time, so you can kind of compare the two sides and see if you feel anything different on one side than you do the other side. This is how I found a lump behind my ear. And this one was really hard. I must have had this since I was a little girl. I mean, I thought it was literally a bone. So I'm still working on that. And then once I slid my hands down even further, I found another little one. This was, when I found this one, it was a little bit bigger than maybe the size of a pea, a little bit bigger. Now it has shrunk a lot, probably about half the size. But if you notice, this is the tubes in my body. This is the part of the lymphatic system, the lymph nodes, the lymph system. And all my stagnation was on this side. Well, guess what? This is where my skin cancer was. So this really tells me that my tubes were, my drain, my lymphatic system is clogged. And so my cells can't dump the waste or the damaged cells into the lymph system because it won't go anywhere. So, when you're detoxing the lymph system, especially in the neck area, this is kind of the bummer about, having stagnation in the neck, is it's so far away from our kidneys. This is where our kidneys dump the acids, the waste from the lymphatic system. So it's really hard, because we have miles and miles of tubes in our body. This is all part of the lymph system, these tubes, and they're miles and miles long. And to get up to here, it has to clog whatever is down here also, and which I can't see. The neck is kind of easy to find because you can feel around, but the tubes in the rest of our body, you don't know if it's stagnation or not. So when the kidneys start filtering and it's unclogging and cleaning out the lymph system, it has to work its way up. So if you have something clogged right here, it's got to unclog that first before it gets up here and unclogs this up here. So that is why I'm still working on myself. I got to get these out of my neck. Even though I have the cancer in my face under control, because of the way I'm eating and my diet and everything like that, if I went back to eating burgers, fries, Mexican food, China, all this processed stuff, if I went back to that, this would probably come back because my drain isn't completely, it's not unclogged here. I don't know for sure, but I ain't gonna take the chance to find out. I want to get these out of my neck. And not only that, you don't want any stagnation around the neck anyways. This is where our brain is. We don't want tumors. We don't want cancer. We don't want anything up here in the brain area. So we definitely want to make sure our lymphatic system is unclogged and there's no stagnation, no bumps, no lumps, nothing in the neck. So if you are rubbing your neck and you feel these, you know, you really do need to start detoxing the body and getting these out. And I am sharing with you, this is the way. This is how we do it. Your fruits and your berries and your melons. You guys are going to get sick of me saying this, but these are the king of food. They're cleansing, they're hydrating, they're astringent. These are the powerhouses right here. So don't be afraid of fruit. And so we got to work on this lymphatic system. It's very, very important. And another thing I want to go into is getting out in the sun. We need sun. This is how we get our vitamin D. Okay, so at the beginning of a detoxing program, we come in, and I've said this before, we are extremely acidic bodies and we are chronic. The last thing you want to do is you probably don't want to lay out in the sun when you're first starting detoxing. You want to start alkalizing the body before you go out in the sun, because the sun is very acidic. It's acidic. Heat is always acidic. Cold is always alkaline. So when we go out in the sun, we're in an acidic environment. So we really want to start alkalizing and find a balance before we start getting our vitamin D. That's what I would do. I would, you know, get your greens in if you need to, whatever, if you're really acidic, because those greens are really alkaline to the body also, as well as our fruits. But to really alkalize the body, you could put in some greens, or you could actually put a little bit of baking soda, aluminum-free baking soda, in some water, and you can drink it that way. But I don't like taking a lot of baking soda. It's very alkaline, and I already have my balance pretty well. But you know, a lot of people that I've seen, you know, they take a lot of baking soda, and I just think that's a little dangerous, because it's very alkaline, baking soda, first of all, and you don't want to be over alkaline. That's alkaline, or alkalosis. And so you definitely want to find a balance, but you always want to be a little bit more on the alkaline side. So you definitely want to be alkaline before you go out in the sun. And when I lay out every day, but when I lay out between 9 and 10 o'clock, not at the peak of sun, you know, when the radiation levels are really high. I just go out there for 30, and right now, because it's not really that hot anymore, but I'll lay out there to 30 to 40 minutes. I don't burn my skin whatsoever, and I do not put sunscreen on my skin ever. I know sometimes we need to, and we just need to find a very healthy, non-toxic skin sunscreen. But other than that, no sunscreen. That stuff is poison, it's toxic, and it actually causes cancer. So before you buy sunscreen, do some research. And another thing too is levels of detoxification. You know, we went into, or I talked briefly about water fasting, dry fasting, and all these types of fastings are really, really good. Now, if you want to hit a water fast, like a long, you know, more than a couple days, I would definitely, for me, I detoxed my body a good year before I did before I did a 10-day water fast. That was the longest water fast that I did, was 10 days. I definitely did a lot of healing before I hit a water fast. Water fasting could really, it's just hitting the body really hard. And if your body purges too much, gosh, that's just a little scary, especially if you have weak adrenals and weak kidneys. You know, you want to at least get your kidneys filtering. Get these doors open a little bit before you start doing any kind of long periods of dry fasting or water fasting. That's what I would do, definitely. It really did feel like, you know, detoxing the body is also detoxing my life on the outside too as well. You know, the cleaner my life is in the inside, the cleaner my life became on the outside. It kind of just went hand in hand for me. And, you know, and another thing too was when I first started detoxing is, you know, I took responsibility for my life, my, you know, all the symptoms that I was having, all the rashes, and, you know, I'm responsible for these things. I've done this to myself, not purposely. We don't purposely go out and hurt ourselves. It was, for me, it was a lack of my own knowledge and awareness. And so, you know, just getting to a place and taking responsibility and saying, you know, enough is enough. I am so sick and tired of my aches and pains and these rashes and me just getting worse and worse. You know, taking action, that's what it's about. You know, getting your life back. Because for me, if I don't feel good, I want to be healthy and I want to feel good. And this is the way I have found how to feel good and healthy and get rid of all of these problems that I was having. I was sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. So if you are feeling the same way as I did, this will change your life. I've healed things that I never thought were possible. So with that, I will end this, and we will continue our conversations. I'm sure there are other things that are going to pop up. You know, I'm just going with the flow. You know, I just want this to flow naturally, and you know, because this is definitely a learning for me. Talking to my camera and not to an actual person, this is very challenging and very out of my comfort zone. So, you know, but, you know, with time, I know it'll get better and better, and the flow of everything will become easier and easier. And I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep powering through it. I don't care. I don't care. I'm getting out of my box that I'm in, my fears, and I'm going for it. And so, okay, with that, I love you all. God bless, as always, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, thanks you guys. Have a wonderful day. Bye.